John Sarno, medical doctor, professor at New York University. For many years, dismissed as a quack. His ideas, that's not medicine, that's New Age. Today, one of the most respected medical doctors in the world. Let me share with you some of his studies. What he noticed as a young doctor was that when he took a picture of people's backs, you could have the exact same looking back. One person, very severe back problem, hardly functioning. The other person doesn't even know that they have an issue in their back. They're fully functioning, 100%. He started to ask why. How is it that some people with the same back don't suffer from pain, whereas others are rendered dysfunctional? And what he realized after much research is that much, not all, but much of the reason, a lot of the reason for people having backaches is not physiological, it's psychological. Or rather, it's the combination of the two. How does it work? What he found is that very often when we suppress an emotion such as jealousy or anger, an emotion that we don't like, disappointment, anxiety, when we suppress an emotion, when we don't let it flow through us, when we repress it, it needs to have an outlet. It needs to come out somehow. And very often the way it comes out, if we don't let it come out, naturally, just by talking about it, by accepting it, by crying, by getting angry, by writing about it, if we don't let it out naturally, it comes out in a different way. And that different way is very often through the weakest link. That part of the body, of that system, mind and body are one, that part of that system which is most vulnerable. And with many people, with the Homo erectus, with many people, it's the back, specifically the lower back. For example, and this he found time and again, you have a young man who had just gotten married, doing great, wonderful, and then a little one comes into existence. He and his wife have a baby. And what very often happens that after about a month, the man's back begins to hurt. Now, there is a reason for it, of course, because suddenly he has to pick this baby up. Suddenly he has to burp the baby. And you know, it's just on one side. Or he picks him up, it's asymmetrical. That's why the back hurts. Or so it seems. In fact, many men think the following, or rather feel the following. After a baby is born, I've just lost my independence. You know, I was working 12 hours a day, happily so. Suddenly the baby comes in, I can't do it anymore. I work very hard, I need a full night's sleep. A 2-week-old baby does not sleep a full night. And it changed my life around. I've lost my independence. I'm compromising on my work. I'm compromising on seeing my friends. My wife doesn't treat me the same way anymore. I'm no longer her baby. She's replaced me with someone cuter. And I'm upset. Not only am I upset, I'm angry. Not only am I angry, I'm jealous of this little thing. But I can't be, because it's my baby. I'm supposed to love that baby more than anything else in the world. I'm supposed to be like her, like my wife. I'm a bad person. This all goes on in the subconscious. I don't want to think about myself as a bad person. What, I'm angry toward this pure, beautiful creature? Jealous toward my own flesh and blood? No, not me. Not me. and I suppress this emotion, I repress this emotion, but you know it has to come out somehow. And how does it come out? The weakest link, the back. And my back begins to hurt like it has never hurt before. That's okay. People can relate to that when I tell them I have a backache. I go to the doctor and say, yeah, you know, your back is misaligned. You need some readjustment. That's okay. That's acceptable. It's not acceptable to tell the doctor or my friends, I actually don't like him. I'm actually very angry at him. That's not acceptable. Not in our culture. And we pay a price for it, and it comes out somehow. I first heard of John Sarno's work through one of my students, Damian Moskovitz. Damian, today Dr. Moskovitz, was one of the best ballroom dancers in the United States. He was a black belt karate master. High accomplished, very successful with terrible backaches for years. But it's understandable. He's a dancer, he's a karate master, you can understand that. And then he read John Sarno's book, and his backache went away by reading the book. And he came to me, was my student, and said, Tal, you've got to read this book. And he told me about it, and I said, Damian, you know, I'm not into New Age stuff. I'm into science. And he said, no, this is science. And I read the book, and it alleviated my backache. John Sarno, over the years, has cured tens of thousands of people with documented backache because they read the book or went through his workshop and simply understood that very simple idea. Simple, though to us sounding fantastic, that mind and body are one. And if we repress an idea, a thought, an emotion, it needs to come out. Freud talked about it. It needs to explode eventually. And it looks for the weakest link. And if I keep it in so strongly because I cannot admit to anyone, not even to myself, that I feel anger toward my baby, or toward my wife, whom I really love, but I'm also angry toward her. I'm not going to admit that. That would make me a bad partner, wouldn't it? And I suppress these emotions, and they come out somehow. Not just backache. For some people, it's carpal tunnel. It's the pain here. For other people, it's recurring headaches, migraines, that are actually a result of suppressed, repressed, deep emotions. Again, not all backaches, not all migraines are a result of the mind, the thoughts, the emotions. People break a vertebra, a bone in the brain. They'll have a lot of pain no matter what their emotions are. However, what Sarno's work does is tell us that mind and body are one. That they're entities that are actually one entity. That one affects and is affected by the other. And there is this constant interplay. And if you mess with one, very often the other one gets messed. And in his case, what we need to do is simply express the emotions. Previous lectures I talked about the importance of the idea of the permission to be human. Yes, I'm human, and therefore I also feel jealousy, or anger, or hatred, or anxiety, just like everyone else does. And when I accept these emotions, when I allow them to flow through me, and don't suppress and don't repress, I don't only feel better psychologically, I also feel better physiologically. Two sides of the same coin.